This is my first presentation I've given as a non-smoker. Well, I was having a hard time in the last couple of years, and I speak all over the country. In the summertime, I give about 6 presentations a week in Glacier National Park. And so I am getting a lot better. It's a pleasure to be here in your beautiful country, Powell, Wyoming. A lot of history here. I went through your museum, the Homestead Museum this afternoon. I was very impressed with that. I did a documentary last year on the Homestead Act with the National Park Service. The documentary we did, is through my organization, and it's great doing because they're all educational stuff. I do sit on the Cody Museum Advisory Board, and I've been doing that for some 13, 14 years. Been in Cody the past 2 years, so this is the first time I really get a chance to. I like this route better than the other route, and I don't know why. Maybe it's the mountains that draw me in. It's very beautiful country here. Sacred land. I worked on sacred land and sacred land issues for a long time in my career, and when I talk about the Sweetgrass Hills or the Badger 2 Medicine areas that I fought to save, I never meet inside of a building. I always meet at the source. That way they have a better feeling in what we're talking about. I remember when I became the culture coordinator of the Blackfeet, they told me to go to Great Falls and to meet with the Bureau of Land Management to stop the mining activity in the Sweetgrass Hills, which are very sacred to our people. Beat the BLM. I didn't know who the BLM was, but I went to my elders the next morning, Fish, and I asked him, I said, I've got to go to Great Falls. He's a medicine man. I got to go to Great Falls tomorrow, and I got to meet with the BLM. What do I tell him? So he went back in his little bedroom, and he came out, and he had some sweet pine and some sweetgrass, and he gave me that. And he told me, he said, as you journey down towards Great Falls, about halfway by Conrad, you stop halfway between Browning and Great Falls, and you face east, and you smudge yourself, and you say a prayer, and you'll know what to say when you get there. So I did. Spoke in Blackfeet. Help me. Give me understanding and what to say to these people, these government people. I don't know what to say. So I got in my car and I took off to Great Falls, and I was driving, and I was almost into Great Falls. Nothing came to me. So I slowed up. This is a true story. True story. And I finally found the Bureau of Land Management office, and I got out of the car, still nothing came. And I lit a cigarette, I smoked. Boy, I was really smudging myself. I need some answer here. So I got in, and I had to walk down this long corridor, and they had windows. And these government people, you know how the government people are, they have these big books, and all these people sitting there waiting for me, huh? Whip all this government stuff on me, huh? Man alive. And so I opened the door, and I opened that door. It came to me what to say. Appeal. I walked in and I acted like I knew what I was doing. I said, I'm Curly Bear, I represent the Blackfeet Nation, and we appeal any decisions made on mining activity in the Sweetgrass Hills. So close your books up and start paying attention to what we have to say. And left. I used to be with the American Indian Movement too. And I was state coordinator, sat on the National Board of AIM, so I could, do those old Indic tactics, you call them. Huh? Kind of put a fear into them. I didn't know what I was doing. But then we had our lawyers get in contact, but we start meeting in the Sweetgrass Hills. And he had created a great working relationship with the Bureau of Land Management, and letting them know the sacredness of those hills, because there's vision structures up there. One of our greatest ceremonies is the Sundance. The Sundance originated in the Sweetgrass Hills. And so we told him that story of Scarface and his journey to the sun. to bring back that most important ceremony to our people. We set up the sweat lodge and take the Bureau of Land Management in the sweat lodge and turn up the heat, just burn the hell out of them. They'll say, oh, we can do that. So I meet with them twice a year. Then from there, we were making a lot of progress. And I've never been to Writing on a Stone in my life, one of our most sacred places amongst my people, and it sits right across the border into Canada. So I went over there one day, and I was walking, and I found a buffalo tooth in that trail. It's a provincial park today. Probably 10,000 people walked over that tooth, and I picked that buffalo tooth up. It meant something to me. They were trying to get something. The spirits were trying to tell me something. So I took that buffalo tooth, and I went up and I seen the Sweetgrass Hills, West Butte, Middle Butte, and East Butte, and Gold Butte. And I sat down and I smudged. And what I was told, not to separate those sacred sites, could never be separated. They should be always held together, because the uniqueness they had upon my people for their survival as a people. The Sweetgrass Hills. The Sweetgrass Hills was an area we looked at, and we could see, we could tell the weather, whether weather was going to be good, whether weather was going to be bad, or what have you. Those old timers could do that. We'd go up on those Sweetgrass Hills and we could see all over the country where there were a food source for us, where the buffalo were. We went there for R&R, rest and relaxation. We went there to gather sweet pine, one of our most sacred ceremonial smudges that we could use, sweet pine. We went there to gather our eagle's feathers, one of the eagle catching areas in that area. And we went there for our ceremonies. We found over 2,000 teepee rings around those mountains, around those hills. And they went there and they got the good spring water. So everything was connected. But what Pegasus Mining Company was going to do is they wanted to mine that area. They wanted to tear those hills down and flatten them out, and for gold. And so this is what I was fighting for, to get our point across. And I caught the Pegasus Mining Company. I was invited to Chester, Montana for one of the rare meetings I went to inside of a building. And I went in there and I asked Pegasus Mining Company, I said, water is a giver of life. It's a source of life to all of us. I said, we look at the world today in a very unique way, the Indian people. We get up in the morning and we leave a prayer when the sun is coming up. We call it Netus. We say, I'm thankful for you for coming up. And when the white man come here and said the sun was our God, the sun wasn't our God, but that was one of the greatest creations the Creator has created, was the sun. And I said what we're doing is we're giving thanks to the sun for what the sun gives to us. What does the sun give to us? It gives us heat, light, and it's an energy force to make all things grow. And so we're thankful for that. So we always leave those offerings. Even this morning I leave that offering and that prayer and giving thanks for what the sun gives to our people. Because we live in a country today, we're thankful for it because we have the clean skies and we have the pure water yet. And we're thankful for that. We don't want nothing to disturb that or take that from us. But we have to fight, and we have to do it in unity as one people, not just as an Indian or somebody from Powell, Wyoming. We've got to come together and fight for these things together. And that's what the Creator wants. We pray with our pipes, the most sacred thing of our people, the pipe. You know it as the peace pipe. But to us, the pipe, the bowl of the pipe is made of stone. So to us, that represents the earth. The stem of the pipe, it's made of wood. So to us, that represents all living things on the earth. And the smoke that comes out of our pipes, we believe, that's our prayers going up to the Creator, because the smoke is like a spirit. You see it, then it disappears. That's the pipe. Because when the Creator created this creation, He created for everything to live in harmony with everything else. Huh? Water, the giver of life. Our people honored water. Great people. But we all had to fight for this water. And that was important. So I asked Pegasus Mining Company, what's more important, gold or water? What would you say? Water? Well, give me your gold. Absolutely. Pegasus Mining Company told me, he said, that's beside the point. And I said, you better believe it is beside the point. What you're trying to do is rob these farmers and these ranchers and these city people and the Indian people of their water, because you're going to pollute this water. Because when they mine, they use cyanide to loosen up the gold from those rocks. And down in Pegasus, outside in the Fort Belknap Indian Reservation, these pads leak, and it gets into their water system. And their banks are yellow. The fish, the wildlife are gone. People have stillbirths. So it has done a lot of destruction to that environment and to the people. I said, we don't want that up here. The farmer, the rancher, has got to make a living. I said, if that happens to Chester and Liberty County, it's going to affect Toole County. If it affects Toole County, it's going to affect Glacier County, and so on. Now, if it affects those counties, it's going to affect the state of Montana. If it affects the state of Montana, it's going to affect the United States. So what you're doing is wrong. So Congressman Melcher one day called me, and I have a great sense of humor. And he said, Curly Bear, because I was supposed to be working on a site, and I needed some Air Force to find these bullets on this Baker massacre. He said, by the way, Curly Bear, how is the Sweetgrass Hills going? I said, boy, you know, I'm having a heck of a time. I said, I have enough paperwork to make a road from here to Washington, D.C. I said, why don't you just get the Secretary of Interior, Babbitt, out here, and we'll just settle the whole shebang. I just teased him. 2 weeks later, Babbitt came to Chester, Montana. I got a telegram. The Secretary of Interior, that I had to meet with him. I was just kind of making a joke about this. So me and one of my elders, who was a Cree Indian, Pat Chiefstick, went and met with him, talked to him, told him about these areas, took a helicopter trip around the Sweetgrass Hills in the Badger 2 Medicine area. Then we had a big press conference. On the front page of the Great Falls Tribune, he was making headlines. He sees Babbitt, he's a big tall guy. He says, Curly Bear, stand over there. If I have any questions, I'll look to you, then just take over. But he's a very brilliant man. He never looked at me, or he didn't want to look at me. He did a great job. So we got a 20-year moratorium on those hills. We whipped Pegasus Mining Company. We give the Creator the glory, huh? Because of all the prayers that we went into. We always give Him the glory for what He's did for our people. And so we saved that sacred site. It's not only sacred to me, but it's sacred to all of us. It's sacred to all of us, and so we look at it that way. And we pass that wisdom on to other people so that they have that better understanding. Sacred sites.